Johannesburg Water will be implementing a 12-hour water shutdown from 7 a.m. this morning in order to repair a leaking valve. Now, the affected areas include Sandton, Hyde Park, Bramley and Highlands North. Gauteng is on a level 1 water restriction as it battles shortages, which led to the Water and Sanitation Minister announcing the strategy called water shifting. Let's unpack this for you now, get you a sense of how you might be affected. Bring in the Deputy Director General from the Water and Sanitation Department, that's Risimati Mathye, who joins us via our video link this morning. Great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. I know you can speak mostly to the more national issues, so perhaps let's begin by unpacking the strategy around water shifting. For people who are still wrapping their heads around the language, explain what the strategy is and whether or not it disadvantages anyone.
Thanks for having us, Ayanda. When we talk water shifting, it's actually not a new way of handling the kind of situations that we deal with. Normally when you have got multiple systems where you are pumping and treating water and filling up to your storage reservoirs, how the system works, it's normally interlinked. It's actually integrated, so you can be able to move water from one pipe to the other, from one storage reservoir to the other, from one tower to the other, from one pump to the other. So when we talk water shifting, all we are saying is that because there are some of the systems that might not be doing well for that particular period and others might be having at least enough capacity, then you are able to move some of the extra capacity to other systems. That's basically how water shifting works, and that allows the system to at least get to a state where it's actually normalized in that case.
You know, in the case of load shedding, we've learned that the grid is not built, for instance, to be turned on and off. And so over time, there have actually been concerns around the impact this will have on infrastructure. Do we share those kind of concerns when it comes to water? I mean, is our water infrastructure built for these kind of alterations, these kind of maneuvers that water shifting suggests ought to be made?
The systems, in essence, should be able to, you should be able to move water. When you do your actual engineering designs in hydraulics, you should be able to move water from another level to another level or from another area to another area, depending on how much capacity you have. But what you have asked is quite crucial, because you can do it for a particular season or particular short time. Maybe if one system is down, maybe one of the bulk line is down, that is going under repairs, but you still have a backfeed to the same system. That's where you are able to move water from another system using another network to still feed the very same area so that people don't feel the pressure of not having water. But when it comes to issues of electricity, when you've got load shedding, this constant cut off of electricity has a direct impact, not in one system, but in many systems. And I think you will appreciate this knowledge, Ayanda, that because the whole load shedding is not integrated in a manner that if, for instance, rainwater in Joburg, where they are doing all the pumpings and everything, in that part of the system, they might not be having load shedding. But as you move closer to municipalities and different supply zones, you find that they are applying actually load shedding. And these are the areas where you still need to pump water to different areas. So the system is integrated. And to answer your question correctly, it does not actually help to have this constant load shedding, because they have a direct impact on how we basically reticulate and supply water to different areas.
So to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly, ironically, load shedding might have a bearing on our ability to implement water shifting.
What I'm saying is from the bulk storage, rainwater, for instance, can be able to move some supply from one area to the other. But the challenge is there's a chance that by the time it gets to the municipal area, if they also have to move systems or join or link them together, and they have some level of load shedding, they might have at least a negative impact on that. That's the point I'm trying to make, to answer your question, that electricity does have a direct impact on that.
Sure. It also sounds to me that this strategy cannot be the long-term solution. I mean, we've already spoken to researchers from a number of universities here on Newzroom Afrika who are actually flagging that, in fact, if this works, if this is able to at least arrest the immediate challenges, the department may very well look at this as a long-term solution. Is that the plan?
No, it's not a long-term plan. It's just an interim so that other systems are able to recover. Once the systems have come to normality, this will be reversed back to the normal operating system. It's just the interim due to the emergency that we're dealing with. And only on the fact that other systems from rainwater side, you remember they've got 4 systems, others have picked up, and there's one, the Bramley, that is quite struggling at the moment, which need to benefit from the others. So this is the only way that we can have that system in Mapleton to pick up so that at least there is an equal share of the water.
Yeah. What will it take for the system to get back to normality? Rain? Is it a better management of the system itself? Are you waiting on maintenance from the different water utilities?
It's more than one activity. One, it's not necessarily on rain per se, because already you have the water in the system. But I think if we go over the current load shedding challenges, and number one, if you look at the moment, because it's the summer now, it's heat wave, a lot of people are using water, so the demand has actually picked up. And when you look at it as well, we also have some losses in the systems, which also have a direct impact on how much water we can keep in our system. So it needs the whole collective approach. While we are doing all this water shifting, trying to raise our reservoir levels as well, at the same time, it's quite crucial that where people are not supposed to be using water and watering their gardens, the more water we keep in our system, the more we're helping the system to recover. Also of critical, Ayanda, is that the community as well should be reporting leaks, and we are urging our municipalities out there, also the metros, that when calls for leaks are locked in, they mustn't take time to attend to those. The quicker they get attended to, the sooner we are able to help the system to recover, because those have a direct impact on how we can actually sustain the system.
Yeah. How much of an issue is that challenge around leaks? Because, I mean, not only does it mean we lose water, but the municipalities also lose revenue potentially, because yes, no one is able to charge for that water.
Yes, it has a direct impact, and we are averaging a lot of numbers in Gauteng, physical losses around 33% or so. Now, that is a lot of water that if we keep in the systems, we are able to at least keep our system balanced. But one thing that came out strong when we have a conversation with the metros, Ayanda, is that they are putting together some of the action plans to accelerate even the quicker response time to some of the leaks, and also urging the communities that when there are leaks, let them get reported, but they need to be attended with speed. And this is how we can collectively as a society help the system to recover, not only when it's during summer season or when there are peak demand, but at least throughout the whole year. These are best practices that the world is actually doing, and we need to keep up in that manner as well as the country.
Speaking about picking up, of course, the issue around leaks may very well shine a spotlight on our inability to make sure that the infrastructure itself is well maintained. And we've spoken about this for years on this platform, Risimati, about just how much we're lagging throughout the country when it comes to making sure that the infrastructure is at an acceptable level to respond to the demand that you speak of, but to also make sure that we're not losing as much as a third of the water in Gauteng, you said, due to leakages.
Yes, we have not been doing quite well. It's a fact. I think when you look at what the Department of Water and Sanitation publishes annually, for now we have actually started to, we are in the process of publishing what we call the North Drop. You might have heard about the Green Drop and the Blue Drop, but now we are also going to publish the North Drop. The Minister will publish that officially in the next couple of months. The intention for that is just to indicate how much water we have in our system and also how much water we are losing. And some of the issues that we are picking up also when we have published the previous reports, specifically on a Blue Drop, was that there's been a decline in the operation and maintenance from our municipalities, and those have a direct impact. And to answer your question as well, is that they have got a direct impact. They are linked to how sustainable our infrastructure is. As you may know, that the infrastructure in most of the areas is quite old, and if you don't maintain it quite well and you don't use some of the latest technology like your pressure management so that you reduce a lot of pressure maybe at night, so that at night the system is not losing water when people are not using it. These are some of the best practices that we are saying to our municipalities. We need to step to that level so that at least we ring fence and mitigate the losses in our systems.
Yeah, and again, you know, these calls have been made for a number of years. How worried are you as a department that we might get to a stage where we start speaking about water shedding the way we speak about load shedding?
We have our own concerns. Our main concern is basically on the speed through which some of the plans that our municipalities are having gets accelerated. For instance, they have got plans to do pipe replacement, to upgrade some of the systems, to build more storage reservoirs, to accelerate the issues of water conservation and water demand. But these programs are not moving in the speed through which we are happy with as the department. But of course, what they are citing is the issues of fund availability. Budget has a direct impact on how some of these plans can be implemented. So it becomes that very same system that you have mentioned, Ayanda, that when water is lost, someone is not paying for that water. So it has a direct impact for that municipality to invest back into the same infrastructure that needs to be upgraded. So as the department, we have urged the municipalities, and where we are offering support, specifically when it comes to our grants throughout the country, we do emphasize on the fact that project needs to be implemented with speed. Where there has to be an acceleration in finishing up some of this project, it must be done with speed, so that at least even the budgeting part of it for operation and maintenance, municipalities needs to have the correct skills. They need to have the correct tools. Leaks should not be left to go for weeks unattended, because that on its own is actually losing the very little resource that we have as a country.
All right, Risimati Mathye, thanks very much indeed for your time. Appreciate it.